Recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and I thank the panel for attending this very timely hearing and for your testimony. Let me ask you this. I mean, I have to agree with what you said, Ms. Hackdorn. You heard a lot of rhetoric about the bad side of the industry and why it's not good enough and all that, when really it's the leading industry for new employment in this country today. Does everybody agree with that? And it is the one, it's, you know, as such, has created more jobs for everybody. Women, people of color, you know, whites, you name it, it's created those jobs. So the question, there's really sort of two questions from a policy perspective, and I'd ask you this, to further on or to go down the direction that Mr. Grijalva wanted to go. What is a better solution to create those employees that your industry needs? You know, whether they are skilled in the trades or they are becoming entry-level engineers, entry-level land persons, whatever. Is it a federalized system that from the top down says what all these folks have to have as far as training? Or is it you working with community colleges or trade schools or with universities to develop the degree plans and the curriculums that help train those people? So if we just start from left to right with you, Ms. Gressley, to answer the question, is it better to do top down, or are you working with local, you know, your local institutions?
Are you asking whether the job training is...
Would a bunch of federal bureaucrats do a better job of coming up with a curriculum, or would your industry working with trade schools like Texas State Technical College and Texas Southern University, so forth, who's going to develop the better curriculum to get the right people into these jobs?
I believe my panel members would probably have more ideas
Mr.
on
LaFair?
this.
I understand the dichotomy that you're creating. You know, I think it certainly has to start at the company internally. This business is largely an apprenticeship business, so it's not just you've got a degree. It's you've got the degree and you've got to have someone to work with you.
Right.
So if I had to choose between the two, I'd say bottoms up, but I don't think either alone is sufficient. I think it has to be a collaboration.
Okay. And then, well, I was thinking more like welders, for instance. I mean, that is, I mean, you can get an apprenticeship in welding, but you need to have the basics. And for instance, in my district, we've got something called GWAMA, the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy. And when the last time I toured it, everybody in there was a person of color or female except for one white guy. And all of these young people, these high school students, were being taught skills, particularly welding. And the curriculum was developed by industry, the energy and other industries. And every one of those young people is going to come out and have a job in the $50,000 to $60,000 range, and that's how we create a middle class in this country. So, but it didn't come from some federal, you know, largesse. Ms. Orthan, what's your answer for that?
Cloud Peak Energy has partnered with several institutions. We've chosen 5 colleges, and then the junior college system in Wyoming has a great technical skills training, diesel mechanics, electricians, welders, machinists, and we've partnered with all of them. Technical skills, we bring in co-ops, and they work on our property with scholarships. We give them toolboxes, and it's not a guarantee of a job at the end, but most of them are hired out of college or out of their 2-year degree through that.
In interest of time, I'm going to switch direction. Is there any impediment today, based on the demand for labor in this business, is there any impediment to having more women join the business in any part of the sector, from trade to the executive suite? Women and people of color. Is there any impediment to that today? Mr. LaWall?
As I sat down here listening to the questions that you were asking, I couldn't just help but hope that you can get to me. While petroleum engineering, management, white-collar work holds great promise in our industry, so is the vocational and the skills trades. Now in Southeast Texas, the recent statistics is that over 50,000 new vocational and blue-collar workers will be needed.
Right.
Just in that area of the state to be able to meet the workforce gap that is being created.
Right.
In our organization, K-Mac Energy, we take very seriously skills training and development. And since 1992 at the University of Houston, we created our first endowment with $650,000 just to train men and women in terms of this petroleum engineering and getting them into the workforce.
Great.
This was geared more towards the minorities and women that will avail themselves and are prepared and trained to be able to take off these opportunities. I think that is the way that you can fill the workforce and the skills that is required for that.
The gentleman's time has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I happen to know a little bit about this industry because I